Hello my friends, my name is Carson Barlow and welcome to Humanity 3.0. So, full disclosure, I'm an atheistic agnostic. With that said, let's read the Bible, shall we? Unlike many of my fellow atheist YouTubers, I'm not going to be reading from the barbaric passages that illustrate how morally conflicting this book is. No, I'm going to read from the parts that morally resonate with the majority of Christians. Why would an atheist teach using the Bible? Click here to find out. So here in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus is giving his cornerstone speech known as the Sermon on the Mount. And starting in verse 43, "Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you." Even though what Jesus said is pretty straightforward, I'm going to give it to you in my own words. Despite culture and society teaching us to hate those that oppose us, I assert that we should love them instead. Whether these are people that oppose you politically, ideologically, or even physically or emotionally, love them. But why? That's a good question. Now this is where I'm going to have to differ with Jesus on this one. He says that you may become children of your Father which is in heaven. Personally, I think this shows a bit of hypocrisy on God's part, by effectively disowning his children unless they comply with his agenda. But perhaps Jesus' intended meaning was lost through the centuries. Whatevs. Besides, this doesn't do you any good if you don't believe in God in the first place. So now we're back to square one. So why is it good to love our enemies? Well, I've got two schools of thought about this. First of all, do you know how much stress and anxiety is caused by hate? Lots. So back in the day I worked at Taco Bell. And I had a manager that could not swallow her pride and cut my hours to teach me to respect her authority. So throughout the years, whenever I'd be thinking about the situation, I'd get full of hate and would daydream about all the various ways in which I would tell her off if I had the chance. Looking back at those times, I'm pretty sure my stress level spiked as I relived that daydream and fueled my angst towards someone who otherwise didn't really affect my life. Ill will is often described as a poison, that the hater suffers more than the hated, and that suffering can't end unless you extract that poison from out of your system. Now on to my second reason. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who was just flat out wrong? You were far more educated than they were on the topic, and you know that they were just drinking the Kool-Aid of whatever echo chamber they were in. They seemed to be childish, stubborn, and maybe even reckless when it came to their views on this topic. Now you have a choice at this point. You can either show them hostility and belittlement, or you can show them kindness and love. First of all, which of these approaches is likely to win over their trust? And trust is so important when it comes to helping people change their minds. But more on that on another time. So let's say later down the road, this completely wrong person comes across the information they needed to change their views. They'd feel much less safe in doing so if they knew that they had a whopping "I told you so" coming their way. So there's two ways to motivate someone, with a carrot or with a stick. And while the stick pushes away from bad, the carrot leads to good. Often when we attempt to push people away from their bad ideas, we ourselves come across as the source of negativity. And the ideas we represent become the stick in their minds, and therefore repels them. But if you show love and compassion for those who oppose your views, then you help remove the barriers that would prevent them from coming around. Well, my friends, I love you all. Wait, do you really love them, or are you just saying that so they'll agree with you? It can be both. Stay classy, my friends.